The crash. The stars were quiet. Cole sat at the back of the transport ship fixing a broken panel. He was a human engineer, good with machines, but bad with people. That's why he liked space. No noise, no drama, just work. The ship was carrying supplies and a few passengers. Most stayed in their rooms. Cole didn't care. He wanted the job done and to go home. Then it happened. A loud boom shook the ship. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. The floor tilted. Cole grabbed the wall. What the hell was that? He ran to the control room. The pilot lay unconscious. Sparks flew from the panels. The ship was falling. He didn't have time to think. Cole strapped himself into a seat and closed his eyes. The ship hit something, maybe a mountain. Metal screamed. Everything turned black. Cole woke up with blood on his face. His ears rang. Smoke filled the air. The ship was broken. Pieces of it were everywhere. On the rocks, in the trees, across a strange red field. He stood up slowly. His leg hurt. The sky above was purple with two suns. This wasn't any planet he knew. He looked around. No one answered his calls. Then he saw a movement. A figure limped out of the smoke. Not human. Tall. Slender. Skin pale blue like moonlight. Eyes wide and glowing. It was a female alien. She looked hurt and scared. Cole raised his hands. "Hey, I'm not going to hurt you." The alien backed away. She held her side. Blood dripped from her fingers. Cole stepped closer. "You're injured. Let me help." She didn't understand his words, but maybe she understood his voice. She stopped, running. Cole knelt and checked her wound. It was deep, but not deadly. He tore his sleeve and wrapped it tight. The alien stared at him. Her breathing slowed. She whispered something in her language, soft and broken. Cole didn't know what she said, but he nodded. "We're not enemies." They spent the next hour searching for survivors. No one answered. The other passengers were either missing or dead. They found a safe spot under a rocky ledge. Cole used broken ship parts to build a small shelter. The alien watched him work. She didn't speak much, but her eyes followed every move. Night began to fall. The air turned cold. The alien suddenly stood and shouted something. She pointed to the sky, to the wind. "What? What is it?" Cole asked. She ran to the wreck and came back with two strange masks. She handed him one and forced it to his face. At first, Cole resisted, but then he smelled something. Sharp, burning. His throat closed. His eyes watered. He quickly put the mask on. The alien saved his life. He coughed hard and gave her a thumbs up. She nodded once, then sat beside him. The wind screamed outside. Something in it sounded alive, like whispering voices. Cole looked at the alien. She sat with her knees to her chest, shaking, not from fear, but maybe from memory. He handed her a heat pack. She took it slowly, her eyes wide with surprise. Cole finally spoke. "My name is Cole." She looked at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she replied in a broken voice. Vela. He repeated, smiling. It was the first time they understood each other, even without speaking the same language. Cole looked at the stars through the hole in the shelter's roof. "I don't know where we are," he whispered, "but we'll make it." Behind them, in the wreckage, something moved. Glowing red eyes watched from the dark. The planet wasn't empty, and they weren't alone. Poison in the wind. The wind had a voice. Cole couldn't hear it with the mask on, but he saw the way it moved the trees, slow and angry, like something was breathing across the land. It wasn't like Earth's wind. It had weight. It felt alive. Inside the shelter, Vela sat in silence. She held a glowing stone in her hand, her people's version of a flashlight. The light flickered softly on her face, showing thin lines of worry. Cole adjusted the metal sheet that covered their heads. "We'll need more power," he muttered. "This battery won't last another night." Vela didn't respond. She just pointed toward the broken engine core lying across the rocks, half buried. It was big, dangerous, and possibly leaking radiation. Cole frowned. "You want me to go out there? In that?" She didn't answer. She just stared at him. Cole sighed. "Fine." Before stepping out, he tightened the mask straps. The moment he pushed the shelter door open, the air hit him like acid. Even through the mask, his skin tingled. The sky was darker than before. Purple clouds hung low. Lightning crackled in silence. Cole ran to the engine. Every step felt slow. The ground was sticky like oil. Something squished under his boot. He didn't look down. He opened the engine panel and reached in. The power cell was there, but it was jammed. He pulled hard, a sharp sound, like a click. Then silence. He froze. Something behind him sniffed the air. Cole turned slowly. Just meters away, a tall shadow crouched behind a rock. Two red eyes stared at him, unblinking. It was shaped like a beast, but moved like a man. Cole's heartbeat grew loud inside the mask, then a loud crack. Vela threw something from the shelter. One of the old ship's flares. The light burst in the air. The creature screeched and ran into the dark. Cole grabbed the power cell and sprinted back. Inside the shelter, he dropped the cell with shaking hands. What was that thing? Vela closed the door and locked it. Her voice was calm, but firm. This planet prison world for killers, monsters, long ago. Cole stared. You mean they put things here? She nodded. Forgotten, now free. Cole rubbed his face. So we're stuck with things that were never meant to live? Yes. Later, while fixing the heater, Cole glanced at Vela. You saved me. Again. She looked away. Cole smiled. We make a good team. She looked back. This time she smiled just a little. Then her face turned serious. She pointed to a map from the ship's storage, a mountain in the north. She said slowly, Old tower, beacon, maybe, send message. Cole's eyes lit up. A signal tower? You think we can call for help? She nodded once. Cole tapped the broken drone beside them. If we can reach that tower, I can fix this and send a distress call. But, she said softly, many creatures live in mountain shadows. They sat in silence again. Outside, the wind howled louder now. Suddenly, the metal roof rattled, then, footsteps, heavy ones. Vela stood, pulling a sharp bone blade from her side. Cole grabbed a wrench. The footsteps stopped just outside. Then, silence. A claw scraped the metal wall once, and then nothing. That night, Cole barely slept. But Vela stayed awake, guarding him. As the sky lightened, the wind finally stopped. The poison was gone, until the next sunset. Cole looked out of the shelter. The ground was covered in strange footprints, 3-clawed, deep and wide. We have to move soon, he whispered. Vela didn't argue. The creature in the fog. The morning came without sunlight. A heavy fog rolled over the ground like spilled milk, cold, thick, blinding. Cole stepped outside the shelter with Vela behind him. They had to leave now, before the poison wind returned. Cole adjusted his tool belt. Let's find that mountain tower. Vela didn't answer. Her eyes were sharp, scanning the fog like she expected danger. The trees groaned. Every step they took left a mark in the wet ground. The fog swallowed sound. It was too quiet. Even the wind was afraid to move. Then, a sound. Low. Wet. Like something breathing with a broken throat. Cole froze. Did you hear that? Vela slowly reached for her blade. She didn't speak. Her body was tense, like a string pulled too tight. From the mist, a tall shadow passed between the trees. Cole gripped his wrench. The shadow moved again, closer. Then they saw it. A creature stepped out of the fog, Its skin was stretched tight, pale and cracked like old leather. Its arms were too long, its back hunched. Two glowing red eyes stared from a face without a nose. Sniff the air. Sniff them. Vela pulled Cole behind a tree. Stay low, she whispered. It hunts with sound. But Cole had already stepped on a dry stick. Snap. The creature turned its head. It moved fast. Too fast. Vela grabbed Cole's arm and ran. They ducked under roots and jumped over rocks. The creature followed, crashing through trees like paper. They reached a dry riverbed. Vela suddenly stopped. There, she said, pointing to a small hole in the cliff wall. Cave! They slid down and squeezed inside just as the creature leapt. Its claws scraped the edge, but it couldn't fit through. It roared, shaking the rocks. Cole panted, holding his ribs. That thing, what is it? Vela answered. A grawl, a prison beast. It eats warm blood. Cole looked outside. It'll wait for us, won't it? Yes. Inside the cave, it was cold and dark. Cole turned on a small light. The walls were covered in carvings, alien symbols, pictures of monsters, battles, and cages. Vela moved her fingers across one image. This was a war colony. My people made it, then left it. Cole asked, You knew this was here? She nodded slowly. But I never thought we would crash here. Cole stood in silence. He felt like the planet itself was angry at them for surviving. Then his foot hit something hard. Bones. Hundreds of them. People died here, he whispered. Vela knelt beside a skull. Many tried to escape. Most failed. Suddenly Cole's light flickered. No, don't die now. The fog outside grew thicker. A shadow passed again. The grawl was still out there. Vela's eyes went wide. She whispered, It is not alone. Cole followed her gaze. From the back of the cave, more red eyes appeared. Not one. Not two. At least 5 creatures stared at them from the dark. Cole grabbed his flashlight and backed up. We're trapped. No, Vela said. We fight. She took out a small crystal from her belt. It glowed blue. Cole had seen it before. It was a power source, a strong one. She handed it to him. You fix. I protect. Cole didn't waste time. He plugged it into the broken drone he carried. If it worked, the drone could send a burst signal to the tower and maybe call for help. The drone buzzed. Its lights blinked green. It's working, Cole whispered. Then, a claw grabbed his shoulder. One of the creatures had slipped past Vela. It opened its mouth, rows of black teeth ready to bite. Bang! Vela threw a spear straight into the beast's head. It fell. 3 more leapt from the cave walls. Vela roared, swinging her blade, dancing like a storm. Cole ducked and covered the drone. Just hold them off. Just a few more seconds. Finally, the drone rose into the air. It blinked red, then blue. Signal sent. Cole shouted, Let's move. Vela was bleeding. A cut across her arm, one on her cheek. She nodded through the pain. Together they pushed past the last creature and ran into the thick fog again. The mountain was still far away, but now someone knew they were alive. The Cave of Bones. The fog began to lift by midday, but the land ahead was still silent and strange. Cole and Vela moved carefully, following the broken path between twisted trees and jagged rocks. The signal was sent, but they still needed the old tower to boost it. Without that, the message might never reach anyone. Cole looked at the scanner in his hand. We're close. The tower should be inside that mountain. He pointed to a tall rock wall ahead. A narrow path curved upward like a scar in the stone. Vela nodded, but her eyes stayed low, on the bones scattered along the trail. Old bones. Some human, some alien, some neither. We're not the first, she whispered. Cole's voice was low. Let's make sure we're the last. The path led to a large, cracked stone door. Carvings covered it. Images of monsters, chains, and cages. Vela placed her hand on the door. This was the final prison before they stopped coming. Cole stared at her. You mean your people built this? She nodded once. Long ago. Too long. We were not proud. The door groaned as they pushed it open. Inside was darkness. Cold. Wet. Echoing. A giant cave opened before them, hundreds of feet wide. The floor was littered with bones, rusted armor, and strange machines that had melted into stone. Cole whispered, "It's a graveyard." "No," Vela said. "It's a warning." As they moved deeper inside, lights on the walls flickered weakly, powered by something ancient. The deeper they went, the more the silence pressed on their skin like a heavy coat. Then they saw it. The tower, right in the middle of the cave. Old, covered in wires, surrounded by dead guards in armor long turned to dust. Cole ran toward it. "If I can plug the drone into this, stop," Vela said suddenly. Cole froze. "What?" She pointed down. The floor near the tower was cracked, thin and hollow. Beneath it, movement. The bones shifted. Suddenly, the floor collapsed. Cole fell through. "Cole!" He landed hard, coughing in a lower chamber, dark and tight. He looked up. Vela was peeking through the hole. "I'm okay," he shouted. Then he turned out and stopped breathing. All around him, cages, hundreds of them. And inside, bodies, some still alive, barely, aliens of many kinds. Thin, starving, silent, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. One of them, a small child, reached out to Cole with a weak hand. Cole whispered, "They never left. The prison still worked. And the monsters weren't the only ones trapped." Vela dropped a rope down and helped him climb up. "They're still alive," Cole said. "Some of them." Vela looked away. This place was buried in war. No one ever came back. Cole's jaw tightened. "We have to do something." He reached the tower, slowly avoiding the cracked floor. Plugging in the drone, he powered it with the crystal again. The tower came to life. Lights blinked. A screen turned on. Cole typed fast. Signal boosted. Location locked. He smiled. It worked. Then, a loud screech echoed through the cave. Something had woken up. From the far end of the cave, a large shadow rose, bigger than the Grawl. It was covered in armor, chained to the wall. But the chains had rusted. The creature had waited, for centuries. Now it saw them. Its mouth opened. Rows of broken teeth. It howled, so loud the walls shook. Vela grabbed Cole. "Run!" They ran, dodging falling rocks and old bones. The tower sparked. The drone exploded behind them, but the signal had already gone. The monster gave chase. Vela threw a blast crystal behind them. The floor cracked and the beast fell into the lower pit. The prisoners screamed below as it vanished into the dark. Outside the cave, Cole and Vela collapsed on the ground, breathing hard. "I think we just woke the whole planet," Cole said. Vela looked up at the sky. There in the distance, a tiny dot in the clouds, a ship. Maybe rescue, maybe danger, but someone was coming. A signal of hope. The ship in the sky grew larger. Cole stood on a high rock, waving a red flare. "We're here," he shouted. "We're alive." Vela stood beside him, silent. Her face was calm, but her eyes were filled with doubt. She didn't trust what came from the sky. The ship was old. Its engines sputtered. The body was marked with strange symbols. Not Earth's, not her people's either. Still, Cole hoped. He smiled. "They got the signal. We're going home." But Vela's voice was quiet. Or someone else got it. The ship landed rough on the rocky field. Dust filled the air. Cole ran forward. The door opened slowly with a rusty hiss. 4 figures stepped out. Not rescuers, not soldiers, but slavers. Tall, armored, faces hidden behind metal masks. Their guns were big. Their boots crushed bones without pause. One of them scanned Cole and Vela, signal source confirmed, he said in a cold voice. 2 survivors. 1 human. 1 alien female. High value. Cole stepped back. We didn't call for you. The leader laughed. You called. We answered. Now you belong to us. Vela growled and moved in front of Cole. The slaver pointed his weapon. Easy, pet. Vela's eyes burned. She hissed something in her language. Cole didn't understand the words, but he understood the meaning. She would die before going back in chains. Suddenly, she moved, fast like lightning. She jumped, grabbed the nearest slaver and slammed his head into the ship wall. The helmet cracked, another fired. Cole tackled him from the side. The shot missed. Vela kicked a 3rd slaver's leg, then twisted behind him and snapped his arm. The leader raised a blade. Enough, he slashed. Blood spilled. Vela cried out and dropped to one knee. No, Cole screamed. He grabbed a loose power rod from the ground and stabbed it into the leader's back. Electricity shot through his armor. The leader screamed and collapsed. The fight was over. 3 slavers lay broken. 1 crawled away, then ran into the trees, vanishing. Cole dropped the rod and rushed to Vela. She held her side, bleeding badly. I'm okay, she whispered. No, you're not, he said. We need to stop the bleeding, now. Inside the slaver's ship, Cole found a medical kit. He treated Vela's wounds, wrapping her tightly. You didn't have to protect me, he said quietly. She looked at him. I did. Why? Her? Answer was simple. Because you protect me too. They stayed in the ship that night. It was safer than the shelter. Cole checked the controls. This junk won't fly, he said. Vela smiled. You are engineer. Fix it. He laughed. Yeah, I guess I am. Later, as they rested, Cole looked up at the stars through the cracked window. I really thought we were saved. Vela nodded. Sometimes. Hope is a trap. But we survived again, Cole said. Because of you. No, she said, softly. Because of us. Outside, the jungle was quiet again, but they both knew. It wouldn't last long, because that last slaver had escaped, and he would bring others. Time was running out. The wrong ship. The slaver's ship was dead metal. Cole sat in the pilot seat, face pale, hands trembling. The core's fried, we can't fly it. Not like this. Vela leaned beside him, her side still bandaged, her breath slower than before. We don't need to fly, she said. We just need to make it look like it can. Cole turned to her. What are you thinking? Vela's eyes narrowed. We build a trap. Hours passed. Cole used every skill he had, rewiring the ship's broken engines, connecting fake signal lights, and rerouting power through old relays. From the outside, the ship looked fixed. It hummed. It glowed. But inside, it was a bomb. Vela planted the charged crystals they stole from the slavers' belts, small red stones with deadly power. She placed them in the vents behind the control panel near the engines. Cole watched her. This is dangerous. She looked at him. So are they. That night, while the jungle slept, a loud roar shook the trees. Vela stood up slowly. He's back. A bright light shone from the sky. Another ship was landing, bigger, cleaner, heavily armed. Cole's heart sank. They brought backup. From the trees, 10 figures marched forward, slavers in black armor. The one who escaped led them. He pointed at the wreck. The alien and the human are inside. That's our ship now. The leader, a tall woman with silver armor, looked at the false signal blinking on the ship's hull. Scan it. A small drone buzzed out. It circled the ship. Then it blinked green. Ship looks functional, the drone confirmed. Engine, warm, life signs detected inside. The leader grinned. Good. Take it, and kill what's inside. The slavers moved fast. 4 approached the hatch. Guns raised. 1 placed a hand on the door. Get ready to breach. Inside the jungle, Cole held the remote detonator in his hand. His thumb shook above the button. Beside him, Vela stared at the ship, quiet and still. She whispered, "Now." Cole pressed the button. A white flash lit the sky. The explosion tore the ship apart. Flames shot into the trees. The 4 slavers near the hatch vanished in smoke and fire. The shockwave knocked others down, screams echoed. 2 more slavers were caught in the blast, dragged back by their own burning armor. The leader shouted, "Ambush! Find them!" But Cole and Vela were already running through the trees. They didn't stop until they reached the cliff near the prison cave. Cole had a plan, but only one shot. He turned. "We lead them here. This time the mountain eats them." Vela nodded. One way out, no turning back. Cole set the last charge crystal in the rock wall. "When they enter the cave, I'll trigger it. The whole place collapses." She stared at him. "You might die. So might you." "But this ends tonight," she said. Footsteps came fast. The slavers followed the trail, straight into the cave, chasing the 2 shadows they thought were weak and broken. Cole and Vela stood at the edge of the cliff. The leader appeared last, screaming, "You think you can run from us?" Cole raised the detonator. "We're not running." He clicked the switch. The earth shook. Rocks fell. The cave mouth collapsed in a thunder of dust and stone. The screams inside were buried with it. Silence followed. Cole fell to his knees, breathing hard. Vela stood still, watching the dust rise like smoke from a fire. "It's done," she said. "No," Cole whispered. "Now it's done." But behind them, something else rose from the jungle, a shape in the sky, a real ship. This one was clean, shining, bearing a peaceful mark. The rescue ship. They didn't have to send a signal. The earlier one had reached someone after all. A voice echoed through the speakers above. "Survivors, we see you. Stand by for pickup." Cole laughed, half in shock. Vela just closed her eyes and whispered something in her tongue. Finally. They were going home. Back to the stars. Together. The rescue ship landed in silence. Its doors opened with a soft "Isaka." Clean air spilled out, warm and sweet. After so many days breathing poison, fire, and fear, it smelled like life. Cole and Vela stood still. The wind was gentle now. The jungle no longer whispered threats. The nightmare had passed. A voice came from the ship's speaker. "We are Alliance Rescue. Are you injured?" Cole raised his hand slowly. "We're alive." Inside the rescue ship, the lights were bright. The floor didn't shake. The engines purred like a cat. Medical bots rushed forward. One scanned Cole. Another moved toward Vela, but she stepped back, growling. Cole put a gentle hand on her arm. "It's okay. They're here to help." She let the bot pass, but her eyes never stopped watching. For too long, every stranger had been a threat. After an hour of scans and silence, a human officer entered the room. He looked at the reports, then at Cole and Vela. "You survived 31 days on Cora 9, he said, amazed. "That's a prison world. No one survives there." Cole smiled weakly. "We did." The officer nodded. "We'll take you back to the core worlds. You'll be safe, both of you." Then he looked at Vela. "You're not on any records. No ID. No species match." "What are you?" She stayed quiet. Cole answered for her. "She's my partner. That's all you need to know." The officer blinked, then smiled. "That's all we need to know." The next day, the ship moved into hyperspace. Stars turned into lines. The cursed planet was behind them, now just dust and bad memory. Cole sat in the mess hall, sipping warm tea. Vela sat across from him, staring at the food on her tray. So many choices, so many smells. She looked up. "This is strange." "What? The food?" "No," she said softly. "Being free." Cole didn't know what to say, so he just nodded. Later, they stood at the window together, watching the stars. Cole broke the silence. "When we crashed, I thought I was going to die alone." Vela turned to him. "I thought I was already dead." He smiled. "But then we found each other." She nodded slowly. "You fixed more than machines. Cole looked into her eyes. And you saved more than my life. They stood like that for a while. No more running, no more monsters. Just stars. When they landed on the core world, many people came to meet them. News crews, scientists, curious minds. Cole answered a few questions. Vela answered none. She stayed close to him. A new home was offered. A quiet place, far from war and noise. They took it. Months passed. Cole returned to fixing machines, but now he had someone watching him, someone learning beside him. Vela learned human words. She laughed more, smiled more. They built a small home under a sky with 2 moons. One day, Cole turned to her and said, "Do you think we were meant to meet?" Vela tilted her head. "No." He blinked. "No?" She smiled. "I think we were meant to survive, but chose to stay." He laughed. "I'll take that." At night, they sometimes sat on the roof staring up, watching the stars. They had left the dark world behind, but it had given them something no planet ever could, each other.